You have lived too many days as if defeat were an option, as if failure were a possibility, as if the outcome of your life depended on the kindness of chance. But hear me now. Chance is nothing. Law is everything. And the man who acts as if he cannot lose bends that law to his service. You have been trained to wait for proof before you believe, to wait for conditions before you act, to wait for assurance before you commit. And that is why your victories have been few. Life does not give its treasures to the man who waits. It gives them to the man who moves forward with the bearing of one who has already claimed them. When I say act as if you cannot lose, I do not speak of arrogance or blind gamble. I speak of a decision so fixed that no setback can touch it, a faith so steady that even apparent failure becomes a servant of your victory, a posture so certain that the world rearranges itself to match it. Look at Henry Ford when the banks doubted him. He did not walk as a man asking permission. He walked as a man collecting what was already his. Look at Edison in the face of thousands of failed experiments. He did not bow. He continued as if the answer was already secured. Look at Andrew Carnegie, negotiating from a position of command before the ink was dry, because in his mind, the deal was already done. The man who acts as if he cannot lose does not waste thought on retreat. He does not entertain the what if of failure. He carries himself, speaks, and works as if the outcome were certain, because in his mind it already is. And here is the truth the timid never learn. Life will test the man who acts with certainty, but it will also obey him. If you will listen with the intent to obey, I will show you how to move through this world as one who cannot be defeated until even the appearance of loss is turned into your advantage. You stand at the edge of your own fortune, yet your steps are uncertain. You wait for signs, for approval, for the voice of the world to tell you it is safe to move. I tell you now, safety is an illusion. There is no permission, no signal, no moment more perfect than the one before you. The man who acts with certainty bends the world to fit his decision as the general bends his army to his command. Fear of failure is the shadow that has followed you, not because failure is certain, but because indecision invites it. In Think and Grow Rich, I named it for what it is, a ghost. A ghost has no power except what the frightened man gives it. When the mind is definite, the ghost cannot enter. Fear is not conquered by time nor by study. It is banished in the instant of decision. Acting as if you cannot lose is not recklessness. It is the marriage of a definite chief aim with unshakable faith. It is the posture of the man who has examined his aim, counted the cost, fixed his course, and chosen never to retreat. This is the man the world cannot withstand, because he cannot be made to doubt himself. Look to Henry Ford when he began producing the Model T. The market doubted him. The bankers saw risk. The so-called experts predicted ruin. But Ford's mind was fixed. He spoke of the car not as an experiment, but as a revolution already underway. He built his factories, trained his men, and moved forward as though the future were already his property. The world caught up because he refused to slow down. This law is simple. When your purpose is definite and your belief is complete, your mind will command your body to act without hesitation, and the world will take shape to match that action. Circumstance is clay in the hands of the decisive man, but in the hands of the hesitant, circumstance is a prison. Most men lose before they begin because they wait for certainty to arrive from without. They study conditions, watch competitors, and measure the weather of opinion, only to find the opportunity has passed. The man who wins is the one who moves forward when others are still deciding. If you would live by this law, you must understand its demands. You must act as if the outcome is already certain. You must speak only in the language of completion, not of possibility. You must walk into every room, every negotiation, every task as if it were already settled in your favor. You will say, "But what if I fail?" I answer, you will not fail. You will encounter adjustments, delays, and detours, but each will serve you if you treat it as part of the plan. The man who has decided that he cannot lose treats every obstacle as a stepping stone. He does not measure himself by single days or single trials. He measures himself by the completion of his chief aim. This is the promise of the law I now lay before you. If you will unite definiteness of purpose with unwavering faith, if you will act, speak, and think as if the end is already secured, you will find the world arranging itself to obey you. And you will no longer ask, will it work out? You will say, it is working out. In the minutes ahead, I will give you the exact process by which you may train your mind to this certainty. I will show you how to fix your aim, form the image of inevitable victory, protect it from doubt, and move in the posture of one who has already won. But hear this first. No amount of instruction will help the man who refuses to act. Therefore, I end this part with your first command. Stop waiting for signs. Stop looking to the world for permission. Begin to speak of your aim as if it were complete. Begin to move toward it as if it could not be denied. From this hour, let your steps be firm, your voice steady, and your mind immune to retreat. The world will obey the man who refuses to question his own victory. All victory begins in the mind. No building rises before its plan. No bridge stands before its design. No fortune is gathered before its image is fixed in the mind of the man who claims it. The timid man believes the end is determined by what he sees. The bold man believes what he sees is determined by the end he has already chosen. To act as if you cannot lose, you must first see with absolute clarity what it means to have already won. This picture must not be a sketch drawn in idle thought. It must be a blueprint engraved upon your mind, revisited morning and night, until it becomes more familiar than your present surroundings. In Think and Grow Rich, I gave you 6 steps to transform desire into riches. Here they are again, not as suggestion, but as the discipline by which the mental picture of victory becomes law within you. These steps are the foundation of acting with certainty, for the mind cannot act boldly toward an end it does not yet know in detail. First, fix in your mind the exact result you desire. Do not permit it to be vague. If it is wealth, name the exact sum. If it is a position, write the title and its duties. If it is a condition in your health or circumstances, describe it so plainly that your mind cannot mistake it for another. Second, determine exactly what you will give in return for this result. You will receive nothing without first giving something of equal or greater value. State clearly the service, the skill, the hours, the attention you will devote. The man who would receive without offering equal return is not a builder but a beggar. Third, fix a definite date by which you will obtain this aim. A goal without a date is a seed left in the sack. The mind moves with urgency only when the clock is set. Fourth, create a definite plan for carrying out your desire and begin at once, whether you think you are ready or not. Action clarifies the plan, and only through action will the plan reveal its true form. Fifth, write out a clear, concise statement of the result you desire, the time limit, what you will give in return, and the plan by which you will achieve it. This is your victory statement. Sixth, read your written statement aloud twice daily, once in the morning upon rising, and once at night before sleep. As you read, see and feel yourself already in possession of the aim. Let your voice carry conviction. Let your mind form the picture. Let your heart feel the possession of it. This picture you form must be as real to you as the chair upon which you sit. It must have weight, color, detail, sound. The more senses you involve, the more real it becomes to your subconscious, and the more your subconscious will command your body to act in harmony with it. Consider Thomas Edison, who held in his mind the image of the electric light burning steadily in homes, streets, and factories. Long before the filament existed that could make it possible, he saw it as done. This picture was not disturbed by the thousands of experiments that failed. Those failures were only steps already included in the path to the picture he carried. Think of Andrew Carnegie, who saw in his mind an empire of steel when others saw only furnaces and risk. His mental picture was so fixed that every choice, every meeting, every investment aligned to bring it into visible form. The men around him caught his certainty because he carried the image as if it were already a matter of history. You must do the same. Begin at once to write your victory statement. State the aim clearly, the date, the service you will give, and the outline of your plan. Post it where your eyes cannot avoid it upon waking and before sleep. Speak it aloud. Imagine yourself there, in the office you will occupy, with the income you will receive, in the home you will own, with the authority you will command. Do not concern yourself with how far this picture seems from your present reality. The man who waits to believe until he sees will never see anything worth believing. The man who sees until he believes will find that the world begins to rearrange itself to match his vision. The subconscious mind is the silent builder of your fate. It takes orders only from repetition and emotion. If you repeat the image of victory, joined with the emotion of already possessing it, the subconscious will accept it as fact and set every faculty, every nerve, and every habit to work toward making it visible. If you allow doubt, fear, or contradictory images to mingle with your vision, the subconscious will be confused and the body will act without conviction. Therefore, guard your mental picture as you would guard a treasure. Speak only words that agree with it. Think only thoughts that strengthen it. Perhaps you have tried before to hold a vision and failed. If so, it is because you neglected repetition, or you repeated the picture without the emotion of belief. Words without feeling are as lifeless as a cart without a horse. You must feel the reality of the picture as you speak it. This practice will at first feel forced, but habit will make it natural. And when it is natural, you will no longer be trying to believe. You will believe. And that belief will pour itself into your speech, your decisions, your movements. Others will sense it and be influenced by it, often without knowing why. Affirm now, aloud, I see my victory as complete. My mind holds no image of defeat. My every act moves in harmony with the end I have claimed. Let these words live on your tongue until they become the law of your nature. When you have built the mental picture of certain victory and fixed it in the subconscious by repetition and emotion, you will have taken the most vital step toward acting as if you cannot lose. For the man who sees the end as done will walk the road to meet it with the poise of one who is returning home. Faith is the armor of the mind. It is the shield that turns aside every arrow of doubt, every whisper of fear, every appearance of defeat. Without faith, the most perfect plan will falter at the first obstacle. With faith, even a plan that begins in weakness will gather strength until it cannot be resisted. But understand me, faith is not a gift bestowed on a lucky few. It is not a matter of chance, nor of birth, nor of temperament. Faith is a state of mind, deliberately created, deliberately maintained, and deliberately strengthened. And the tool by which it is built is autosuggestion, the repeated statement of that which you desire until the subconscious accepts it as truth. In Think and Grow Rich and Law of Success, I gave the self-confidence formula. This is the working instrument for creating unshakable faith. It is not to be read casually, but with the full force of your voice and belief twice daily until the tone of your speech, the set of your shoulders, and the direction of your actions all match the certainty of the words. The formula is this. First, I know that I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite chief aim. Therefore, I demand of myself persistent, aggressive, and continuous action toward its attainment. Second, I realize the dominating thoughts of my mind will eventually reproduce themselves in outward physical action and gradually transform themselves into physical reality. Therefore, I will concentrate my thoughts for 30 minutes daily upon the person I intend to become, creating a clear mental picture of that person. Third, I know through the principle of autosuggestion that any desire I persistently hold in my mind will eventually find some practical means of attaining the object back of it. Therefore, I will devote 10 minutes daily to demanding of myself the development of self-confidence. Fourth, I have clearly written down a description of my definite chief aim in life, and I will never stop trying until I have developed sufficient self-confidence for its attainment. Fifth, I realize no wealth or position can long endure unless built upon truth and justice. Therefore, I will engage in no transaction which does not benefit all whom it affects. I will cause others to believe in me because I will believe in them and in myself. This is not poetry. It is a discipline. If you will speak it morning and night with the full force of your imagination and emotion, it will reshape the very structure of your belief. Look at Abraham Lincoln in the darkest hours of the Civil War. Armies defeated, cities burned, voices in his own government urging surrender. Yet he carried himself as though the Union's victory were inevitable. He spoke in public as if the outcome were assured. His faith was not in luck, but in the justice of his cause, the strength of his plan, and the endurance of his people. That faith became the backbone of the nation until victory was won. Consider Charles M. Schwab, who led U.S. Steel during times of uncertainty. Where others saw danger, he spoke of expansion. Where others hesitated, he pushed forward. His belief in growth was so strong that it became contagious, rallying investors, workers, and markets to his side. That is the effect of faith. It multiplies itself in others. You must now adopt this law. Never permit words of doubt to pass your lips. Never speak of your aim as possible, or, if it works out, speak always as if it were done. The tongue is the servant of the mind. If you let it speak uncertainty, it will feed that uncertainty back into your thought until it takes root. The man of faith is not shaken by temporary defeat. He regards every setback as a necessary step in the unfolding of the plan. To the man of faith, delay is only preparation, and difficulty is only refinement. This is why he cannot lose, because he refuses to interpret any event as loss. From this day, replace every phrase of weakness with a phrase of strength. Instead of, I hope to, say, I will. Instead of, if this works, say, this is working. Instead of, I will try, say, I am doing. The change may feel strange at first, but soon it will feel as natural as breath and as necessary. Affirm now, my faith governs my action. My words confirm my victory. I act as one who cannot fail. Speak it aloud. Repeat it until you feel its truth. For when you believe you cannot fail, you will act in ways that make failure impossible. Faith is the master key. With it, you open every door. Without it, even open doors will appear shut. Build your faith, guard your faith, and let your faith be the shield that turns every defeat into a stepping stone toward the inevitable victory you have already claimed in your mind. There is a moment in the life of every man when he must decide, not wish, not consider, not plan, but decide. In that moment, he crosses the line between drift and destiny. Decision is the act by which the will seizes its aim and refuses to release it. The man who decides completely will never again be the same, for the decision becomes the law by which he governs himself. To act as if you cannot lose, you must first decide that you will not lose. This is not a matter of public announcement. It is a private covenant between your will and your purpose. It is the moment you burn the bridges to retreat, the moment you close the door to doubt, the moment you silence the voice that says, "What if?" From that moment, your only direction is forward. History gives us an unforgettable example in Hernán Cortés. In 1519, upon reaching the shores of the New World, he ordered his ships burned. His men understood instantly. There was no going back, victory or death, but not retreat. The destruction of those ships was more than a tactical choice. It was a decision made visible. When all roads lead forward, the will finds a way. In Think and Grow Rich, I warned of the cost of indecision. The tale of 3 feet from gold is not a fable. It is the truth of countless men. They labor toward their aim, but because they have not truly decided, the first discouragement causes them to stop. Unknown to them, their goal was only inches away. Decision is the resolve that prevents such surrender. Look again at Henry Ford. His decision to produce an affordable automobile for the common man was made long before the assembly line existed, long before the infrastructure was ready, long before the market believed in it. Yet he never revisited the choice. He refined methods, improved parts, and adjusted production, but the decision itself remained untouched. That is the power of a true decision. It is final. You must now examine your own aim. Have you decided, or have you merely preferred? A preference says, I would like to achieve this. A decision says, I will achieve this and nothing will turn me aside. A preference will wait for ideal conditions. A decision will create them. One mark of a true decision is the removal of retreat. The man who decides does not keep a second plan in his pocket just in case. He does not hold back resources for fear they will be wasted. He does not delay action until he feels ready. Decision throws the whole man into the work without reservation. Language is another test. If you have decided, you will find that the words if and try disappear from your speech. They will be replaced by I will and I have. These are not tricks of optimism. They are the natural expression of a mind that has closed every alternative to victory. From this hour, watch your words. Strike out every if. Replace every I will try with I will do. Speak as the victor speaks. Your words are the soldiers of your will. They must not be permitted to desert their post. When you make your decision, make it completely. Do not half decide today and revisit it tomorrow. Do not permit the counsel of the fearful to reopen what you have closed. Do not allow the failures of others to make you question the certainty of your own victory. Affirm aloud, my decision is final. My course is fixed. My will is certain. All events align with my aim. Speak it until your mind accepts it as law. Decision is the trigger that sets the whole mechanism of faith, planning, and persistence into motion. Without it, nothing begins. With it, nothing can be stopped. Persistence is the proof of your decision. It is the force that converts bold beginnings into complete victories. Without persistence, even the clearest aim and the strongest plan will die in the field. With it, even the humblest start can grow into an empire. Persistence is the muscle of the will, strengthened by daily use until no obstacle can withstand it. In Think and Grow Rich, I name persistence as one of the essential qualities of success. It is built on the foundation of definiteness of purpose, backed by burning desire, supported by self-reliance, guided by accurate knowledge, strengthened by cooperation, sustained by willpower, and made habitual by constant action. Each of these fuels the fire when the road grows dark. Look to Thomas Edison for the living example. 10,000 attempts to find the proper filament for the electric light. 10,000. Each failure could have been the last. Each failure would have been the last for the man without persistence. But Edison acted as if success were inevitable, treating every experiment not as a defeat, but as a step toward the inevitable result he already saw in his mind. Consider Colonel Harlan Sanders, well past the age when most men retire, traveling from town to town with his fried chicken recipe. Rejection after rejection, over 1,000 times. Yet he moved with the carriage of a man certain of his eventual triumph. That certainty gave him the strength to knock on one more door, and one more, until the world knew his name. You must understand that persistence does not prevent challenges, it masters them. The man without persistence meets an obstacle and calls it the end. The man with persistence meets the same obstacle and calls it the next step. The difference is not in the road. It is in the resolve of the traveler. Persistence backed by belief turns delays into preparation. It turns no into not yet. It turns apparent loss into experience gained for greater victory ahead. That is why the man who persists cannot lose. He simply has not yet won. To cultivate persistence, you must set a daily standard of progress toward your aim, not weekly, not when you feel inspired, but daily. Each day must contain some act, however small, that advances you. This is the training of the will, showing it that action is taken regardless of mood, weather, or circumstance. Guard yourself against the enemies of persistence, fear, indecision, doubt, and the influence of those who have surrendered their own aims. These will whisper to you that the delay is a sign to quit, that the difficulty is a warning to stop. You must refuse their counsel, for they speak the language of defeat. From this hour, let your rule be, I do not stop because it is hard. I continue until it is done. Let this be your watchword when fatigue comes, when discouragement knocks, when the results seem slow. Affirm aloud, I outlast all obstacles. Persistence is my ally. I hold the course until the victory is complete. Speak it in the morning when the day is new. Speak it at night when the body is tired. Let it sink so deeply into your spirit that you cannot imagine stopping until the end is reached. Persistence is not glamorous in the moment. It is often lonely, often unnoticed. But in the end, it is the one quality that all victory shares. When the history of your aim is told, it will be persistence that writes the final line, and that line will read, He did not quit, and therefore he could not lose. No man ever truly wins alone. The boldest decision, the strongest faith, the fiercest persistence, these are multiplied when joined with other minds of equal determination. This is the mastermind principle, the coordination of knowledge and effort between two or more people in a spirit of harmony to attain a definite purpose. In this union, a power is formed that no single mind could produce. I have called the mastermind the driving force of nearly every great fortune. It is not a club for idle conversation. It is a council of war for your definite chief aim. In it, each member brings his experience, his insight, his encouragement, and his belief, and together they generate ideas and energy that cannot be found in isolation. Andrew Carnegie was the living proof. He openly stated that his personal fortune was the result of having men around him, his mastermind cabinet, whose combined abilities surpassed his own in many areas. He selected them not for their agreement alone, but for their skill, loyalty, and shared commitment to the aim. In their meetings, decisions were sharpened, strategies refined, and courage renewed. Look also to Thomas Edison's invention laboratory in Menlo Park. Though Edison is often credited alone, he surrounded himself with capable minds who contributed ideas, tested theories, and improved designs. The inventions that came from that place were the fruit of a mastermind, a harmonious group, each man's strength filling the gap in another. The power of a mastermind is not limited to technical skill. It is also the transfer of confidence. When your own faith wavers, the steady belief of another can restore it. When your persistence weakens, the example of a determined ally can strengthen it. When you face doubt from the world, the encouragement of your circle can drown it out. To form your own mastermind for certain victory, you must follow deliberate steps. First, choose with care. Select only those who share your level of seriousness and definiteness of purpose. A doubter, a cynic, or a half-committed member will weaken the harmony, and in weakening harmony, weaken the power itself. Second, define the purpose of your alliance with clarity. Each man must know why the group exists, what aim it serves, and what each member is expected to contribute. A mastermind without a definite aim is a ship without a compass. Third, meet regularly, not merely when convenient. The rhythm of meeting builds momentum. In those meetings, review progress, share resources, solve problems, and set the next actions. Keep records so the group can measure advancement. Fourth, maintain harmony at all costs. Disagreement over ideas is natural and even beneficial when handled with respect. But personal conflict, envy, or hidden agendas will poison the spring. Address any discord quickly, and if necessary, remove the source before it infects the whole. Fifth, give more than you receive. The strength of the mastermind grows when each member offers value without counting the cost. This spirit of generosity fosters trust and loyalty, qualities that cannot be bought. Understand this: a true mastermind is not measured by the number of its members, but by the quality of their harmony. 2 minds in perfect accord are stronger than 20 in confusion. 1 steady ally is worth more than a crowd of spectators. The mastermind also serves another purpose. It keeps you accountable. Alone, you may delay action or soften your standard. In a circle of determined men, you will be called to account for your commitments. This is not to shame, but to ensure that every member rises to the level of his declared aim. In times of uncertainty, the mastermind is your fortress. When the noise of critics grows loud, retreat into the council of your allies, and you will hear only the language of victory. When the path ahead is unclear, their combined insight can reveal solutions you would not have found alone. Carnegie's cabinet was not a formality, it was a living source of direction. Decisions made there carried the weight of multiple perspectives, refined by debate and united in execution. Edison's team did not merely follow orders, they contributed ideas, improved processes, and shared in the triumph of each invention. If you cannot yet gather such a circle in person, begin by aligning yourself with the minds of the great through their books, speeches, and biographies. Study their methods, adopt their principles, and imagine them as part of your council until you can join forces with living men of similar character. But do not delay in building the real thing. You will know you have found true mastermind partners when your meetings leave you more energized than when you arrived, when your vision grows clearer after each discussion, and when your belief in your aim is stronger because of their presence. To protect this alliance, you must guard it from the infiltration of negativity. Never admit a man whose spirit is opposed to your aim, whose speech is filled with doubt, or whose character is untrustworthy. Better to keep the circle small and strong than large and divided. Affirm aloud, I surround myself with allies of courage. Our union multiplies our power. Victory is certain when we act together. Let this be the creed of your mastermind. When you move with such a circle, you borrow strength on the days your own feels low. You borrow wisdom in areas where you are less skilled. You borrow courage in moments of hesitation, and in return, you give the same, creating a current of power that carries all members toward their aims faster than any could travel alone. The man who acts as if he cannot lose must ensure that his companions think the same. One voice of defeat can undo a chorus of victory if permitted to linger. Therefore, choose, build, and guard your mastermind with the same care you guard your own mind, for in truth it is an extension of it. Remember, when the history of your success is told, the names of those in your mastermind will be woven through it. They will be the ones who stood with you when the path was unclear, who pushed you forward when the world resisted, and who celebrated with you when the aim was made visible. Seek them, keep them, and together, act as if you cannot lose until the world itself believes it. Controlled attention is the watchman of your mind. It is the discipline of directing your thoughts only toward that which advances your definite purpose and refusing entry to all that weakens it. The man who acts as if he cannot lose must make certain that the only pictures, words, and ideas admitted to his mind are those that strengthen the belief in his inevitable victory. Most men live with attention scattered in 1,000 directions, part on their aim, part on idle amusements, part on the gossip of neighbors, part on fears about the future. This scattering of thought is the leaking of power. A man's mind is like sunlight. Diffused, it warms. Concentrated through a lens, it burns. Controlled attention is the lens that focuses all the light of your mind on your purpose until it burns through every barrier. In Think and Grow Rich, I wrote that the dominating thoughts of your mind will reproduce themselves in outward action. But for them to dominate, they must be kept before you constantly, fed by repetition, and protected from contradiction. If you allow opposing images or fears to enter unchecked, they will fight with your aim for control of your actions. Woodrow Wilson understood this principle. When he conceived of the League of Nations, he met fierce resistance at home and abroad. Yet he held his attention fixed on the vision of a world body that could prevent future wars. He devoted his speeches, his negotiations, his travel, and his personal energy to this aim. Though the League was not adopted by the United States in his time, his unwavering focus influenced global policy for decades, and the idea lived on in later institutions. To practice controlled attention, begin by identifying every source of input into your mind. This includes the people you speak with, the books and papers you read, the broadcasts you listen to, and the thoughts you dwell upon in solitude. Ask of each, does this feed my aim or weaken it? If it weakens, remove it. Second, set aside a fixed time each day for concentrated thought upon your aim. This is not idle daydreaming, but deliberate visualization joined with planning. Picture your aim as complete, review your progress, adjust your plan, and decide the next concrete steps. Even 15 minutes of such concentrated focus daily will keep your mind aligned with your purpose. Third, replace every idle thought with a constructive one. When you find your mind wandering to worries, replace the picture with the image of your completed aim. When you catch yourself repeating doubts, replace the words with affirmations of victory. This constant redirection is the training of controlled attention. Fourth, practice accurate thinking, which is the habit of basing decisions only on facts that are relevant and verifiable. Many men fail because they accept rumors, opinions, or fears as if they were truth. These are mental weeds that must be pulled before they choke your aim. Ask, is this fact proven? Does it relate to my purpose? If not, discard it. Andrew Carnegie was a master of this. In his business dealings, he ignored irrelevant data and refused to be swayed by opinions that did not directly affect his purpose. By keeping his mind clear of clutter, he could see opportunities and threats with precision. That clarity of thought was one reason he could move decisively while others hesitated. Controlled attention also means guarding against the poison of what if it fails. This question serves no man. It diverts the mind into planning for defeat instead of victory. The only what if you must allow is, what if this works even better than I planned? All else is waste. To reinforce your attention, create physical reminders of your aim. Place your written victory statement where you will see it throughout the day, on your desk, in your wallet, by your bed. Surround yourself with symbols of your aim, a model of the product you will build, an image of the place you will live, a list of the people you will serve. Let these be constant triggers to bring your attention back to where it belongs. You must also guard your associations. Conversation with those who doubt your aim will plant seeds of their doubt in your mind. The man of controlled attention chooses companions whose speech builds, not breaks, whose questions open the road, not close it. This is why the mastermind principle is so powerful. Its harmony feeds controlled attention instead of scattering it. In moments of fatigue or discouragement, you may feel your focus slipping. This is the hour to use affirmations as a rallying cry. Speak aloud. I control what enters my mind. My attention serves my purpose. My mind rejects defeat. The act of speaking will often be enough to turn your thoughts back to their rightful course. Remember, the mind will work on whatever you feed it, whether by choice or neglect. If you do not choose your focus, the world will choose it for you, and it will not choose in your favor. Advertisements, gossip, news of disaster, these will claim your thoughts if you do not claim them yourself. Controlled attention is not a burden, it is a liberation. It frees you from wasting energy on matters that do not advance you. It turns every hour into an investment in your aim. It makes you immune to the panic and distraction that control the average man because your thoughts are anchored in a port that no storm can touch. Practice it until it becomes instinct. When you can no longer tolerate unproductive thoughts, when you automatically turn from doubt to vision, when your mind rests naturally on the picture of your victory, then you will know you have mastered controlled attention. The man who acts as if he cannot lose feeds only the images, words, and facts that confirm his victory. He starves doubt, he silences fear, and he rejects distraction. His mind is a fortress with a single banner flying from its tower, the name of his aim. And because he guards it so well, that aim becomes reality. Affirm it now. My attention is my servant, not my master. I feed it only victory, and it gives me victory in return. There is a difference between the man who hopes to win and the man who lives as if the victory were already his. Hope waits. Living as if you have already won commands. Hope asks for permission. Living as if you have already won issues orders. The man who carries himself as the possessor of his aim bends the conduct of others to match his certainty. When you live as though your victory is past and only the date of its unveiling remains, you alter every detail of your conduct, your voice, your stride, your planning, your speech. People feel it before you tell them. They sense it in the way you choose your words, in the calm with which you make decisions, in the absence of hesitation. You have removed if from your vocabulary because you are not speculating, you are fulfilling. Andrew Carnegie was a master of this. In negotiations, he spoke of agreements as if they were already signed. This did not insult his partners, it reassured them. They felt they were stepping into a certainty, not a gamble. His confidence was not bluster. It was the natural result of having already decided in his mind that the outcome was his. The world merely had to catch up. Henry Ford did the same when announcing projects. He spoke of what would be built as if it were already standing. Engineers who told him it could not be done found themselves working to make it so, because Ford's manner allowed no room for the possibility of failure. His conviction was infectious. It became the climate in which his associates worked. To live as if you have already won, you must first see the result as complete in your mind, as we have established. But then you must let that image shape your outer life. Begin with posture and tone. Stand, walk, and speak as the man who holds his prize. This is not arrogance, it is poise born of certainty. People trust the man who trusts himself. Next, make decisions from the standpoint of your accomplished aim. Ask yourself in each choice, what would the man who already holds this victory decide? Make that choice, even if it demands greater courage or investment than you feel ready for. This brings your present behavior into harmony with your future possession. Third, order your environment to reflect your victory. If your aim is to lead a great enterprise, keep your workspace in order and your dress in accordance with the dignity of your role. If your aim is to master a craft, surround yourself with the tools, books, and materials of the master, not the beginner. Let every sight in your daily life confirm the truth you have claimed. Fourth, speak only as the victor speaks. Do not announce your aim as a far-off hope. Speak of it as a certainty, and of your progress toward it as a matter of course. Avoid boasting. That is the habit of the insecure. State your aim and your progress plainly, with the calm of a man reporting the sunrise. Fifth, carry yourself with the patience of the man who knows the outcome. You are not frantic because you have no fear. You do not rush blindly because you know the finish is already secured. This patience is not passivity. It is the steady application of effort without panic. Others will mistake it for luck when it is simply the conduct of certainty. You will find that when you live in this manner, others begin to treat you in alignment with your belief. Opportunities will be offered without you begging for them. Doors will open because people assume they should be open for you. Assistance will come from unexpected places because your composure convinces others that their help will not be wasted. This way of living is sustained by repetition until it becomes a hypnotic rhythm, as I described in Outwitting the Devil. When you repeat the actions, speech, and posture of the victor daily, they cease to be an act and become your nature. At that point, nothing can shake you from them, because you would have to deny yourself to change them. To fix this rhythm, I give you a 30-day challenge. For the next 30 days, speak, act, and decide in every matter as if the aim were already yours. Begin each day by reading your victory statement aloud with conviction. Throughout the day, check your posture, your tone, your words. Do they belong to the man who has already won? If not, correct them immediately. Keep a record each evening of how you conducted yourself. Note where you acted in harmony with your victory and where you allowed doubt to color your conduct. Over 30 days, you will see the balance shift until victory conduct becomes automatic. There will be moments when the present facts seem to contradict your claim. Ignore them. Facts change. Truth endures. The truth is that you have already won in the realm of decision, belief, and purpose. The facts will rearrange themselves to match that truth if you persist. Affirm aloud, I am the victor. My words are law. My actions are certain. The outcome is mine before the world sees it. Let this be your final word in the face of any challenge. This is the culmination of all we have discussed. The definite aim fixed in the mind, the mental picture fed by faith, the decision made without retreat, the persistence that outlasts resistance, the mastermind that multiplies your power, the controlled attention that guards your purpose. All of it leads here, to living as though the aim were already yours. When you live this way, you no longer chase success. You embody it. And when you embody it, the world cannot deny you for long. Circumstances will align, people will assist, events will unfold, not because of chance, but because you have trained your mind and body to walk in the certainty of victory. So I give you the final command. Act now, act boldly, and act as if all is already yours, until the world itself can no longer tell the difference between belief and fact. And when that day comes, you will smile, not in surprise, but in recognition, because you knew all along. It always works out, because you make it so. You have heard the law. You have been shown the path. Now the choice stands before you, and it will not wait. You may leave here as you came, measuring yourself by the doubts of others, stepping softly lest the world disapprove, living by the permission of circumstance, or you may walk out as a man who cannot lose. To live as such a man, you must take the aim you have chosen and write it on your heart as law. You must see it not as a hope, but as a fact waiting to be revealed. You must speak of it only in the language of certainty. You must make decisions that leave no door to retreat. You must persist until even resistance serves you. You must surround yourself with those who will not let you forget who you are. You must guard your attention from all that contradicts your truth. And then, you must live as though the victory were already won. The world will test you. It will ask, "Are you sure?" It will send delay, resistance, and criticism to your door, and you will answer not with complaint, but with action, not with fear, but with the calm of a man fulfilling what was decided long ago. This is the man the world cannot defeat, the man who commands events as the general commands his army, the man whose faith is a shield, whose decision is a fortress, whose persistence is a battering ram, whose allies are his strength, whose focus is unbroken, whose conduct is the very image of victory. Stand now and claim this identity. Say aloud, "I am the victor. My words are law. My actions are certain. The outcome is mine before the world sees it. It always works out because I make it so. Live these words until they no longer sound like ambition, but like fact. And when the day comes that the world sees what you have known all along, you will not be surprised. You will simply nod, for you will recognize it as the natural conclusion to the life you have been living from this moment forward. Now go. Act as if you cannot lose and you will not.